Hello my lovely friends on YouTube, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. In this video, I am going to be showing you some tips and tricks for playing Lissandra.
The cold will numb your pain.
One of the most unique parts about Lissandra is her E ability. The E ability creates an Ice Claw that deals magic damage. Usually, reactivating this ability takes Lissandra to the claw's current location, but experienced Lissandra players will sometimes make use of the walls on the rifts when casting Glacial Path, because you can actually change where you are getting transported to by using the walls on the map. For example, say you're doing the Raptors, you can almost get to the middle of the lane by using the Glacial Path and the wall. Here are some other examples of using the walls to change the location of transportation.
Plans within plans.
Keep in mind that you can still use E after the claw has disappeared. Like you can still press E if you see the shadow, so sometimes what a lot of Lissandra players would do when they escape is to cast the Glacial Path, walk in the other way, and at the last second press E again. So the enemy basically has to choose between the direction you're going to or the claw.
This world has forgotten true power.
The order in which we use our abilities is really important when playing Lissandra. For example, at first glance, WQ and QW might have the same effects on the enemy, but actually it's quite nuanced. Because Q has a slight cast time and W does not, QW can help damage the enemy faster than WQ, but WQ is safer to use if you want to make sure that your abilities are landed on the enemy. Case in point, suppose that the enemy's ability is almost off cooldown and you want to make sure that you kill him before he kills you. In this case, you should be using Q first. If you want to make sure that the enemy is rooted so that your jungler can follow up, then you should be using W first. By the same token, Q flash W is faster and flash WQ is safer.
You can't stop an avalanche.
Lissandra's role during the laning phase is very similar to Talon, except that Talon has more solo killing potential, and because of this, the most meta way to play Lissandra is to take Aftershock and teleports and look to push the wave. One of the advantages of playing Lissandra is that she is pretty safe from getting ganked, so if you know how to use her E properly, it's usually okay to push the wave out as Lissandra. And with Aftershock, you have more sustain, which is super helpful because as long as you're alive, you can teleport or roam and help your team out with your crowd control. Alternatively, you can also look to get gold from the turret plates after you have pushed out your wave, and maybe even get the mid turret for map control and better roaming opportunities.
This is but a battle. I've already won the war.
Lissandra is an all-rounder in team fights. She's got a passive that can slow and deal damage when an enemy dies near her. She's got a crowd control, she's got a engage, she's got a damage, and she even has a heal for herself if she self-ults. So since we're good at so many different things, it's important to use this advantage and play based on what our team needs in a team fight. For instance, if you think that your team needs someone to start a team fight, Lissandra can start a team fight for your team. Just use Glacial Path, Hexatech Protobell, and or Frozen Tomb. Usually, if we're going into the enemy's team, we should self-ult and Zhonya's, otherwise we will probably be dead in a flash. Note that the more health you're missing, the more you heal. Also, if you're going to use Zhonya's after you ult yourself, make sure to not mindlessly use it right after your ult ends. Use it to avoid incoming damage instead. If your team is getting engaged on, Lissandra can also go into the enemy's team and give their backline some pressure while your allies deal with their frontline. Depending on your build and how ahead you are, you might be able to just directly burst down the carry. So whether we should use Frozen Tomb on ourselves or the enemy is situational here. You can also catch someone off position with your CC. Like say if the enemy ADC is all alone farming somewhere, you can use Glacial Path, Protobell, and then CC him. If he is in your W range, use W because that's faster than the ultimate. Or if he is not in the W range, use the ultimate and then W.
I will restore Freljord's greatness.
And that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in future videos. Good luck winning!